So I guess this is just the week of discussing hair. This is kind of a topic that I've had on my heart. And y'all know that I only really do videos when I feel like I have something to say, and when I feel that something is, on my heart to share with you all. Today, I'm going to talk about how I learned to love my hair. And if you're new here, this channel is all about things that I've learned. It is documenting my life, but it's also about things that I've learned and things that I wish somebody would have told me, and things that I've worked through that weren't as obvious, that it would just have been nice to get a heads up. So hopefully this helps you, and I look forward to talking with you in the comments. So I learned to love my hair by realizing I never actually had a problem with it. That my problem was that everybody else had a problem with it. And when the world got quiet enough for me to hear myself think, that's when a lot of the answers came. So growing up, there's just a lot of one of two realities. Either we didn't get any feedback at all, and that is detrimental at all, when nobody's telling you you look good or bad, when you're just completely being ignored, or by default everyone else is getting complimented except you. Especially growing up in a white neighborhood in a very racist town, and then coming home to a not so good home and not so good family environment. It's like getting zero feedback is almost as bad as getting bad feedback. But then when you would get feedback, it would be bad feedback, especially about your hair. The only time it was accepted was when I was getting a relaxer, when it was straightened, when it was very Eurocentric. Anything outside of that, and by the way, I could have the worst weave in. I could have the weirdest weave with it sitting on top of my head and compliments, and I would look and I'd be like, this doesn't, this looks terrible. But when it came to my natural hair, there was such negative, not only energy, you can feel the vibe around it, but the words that were said from especially female family members, but even the male ones. And there should be a discussion on talking about how Black men view natural hair on women. The lies where they say, oh, we like this. And then when you have it, just the nasty things that they say. And these are men you don't even have to know. Yes, it was, my father and the people around me, but it was also like, I get men, boys that I did not know. And so I grew up feeling just this, I now can describe it as this bubble of pressure all around me. And I couldn't quite describe it, because you think it's you feel the energy of it, and you're going, oh, I have the problem. Because it's not just that, it's how you dress, how you look, how your body is. It's just this, and when I started examining this topic within myself, I was like, what is this? Because I don't like doing my hair. But the thing is, I didn't like doing my hair, but I realized when I looked into that, I was like, I don't know how to do it. And then I thought back, I was like, who taught me? Nobody. Nobody barely went over even how to wash my hair. And even when we would go to beauticians, they don't know how to care for hair either. And that also needs to be discussed. These stylists, these beauticians, they love to say they've been doing it for 30 years, but they do not know how to care for hair. They don't. They know how to actually, a childhood beautician is the one. I remember praying about this, and I was thinking about going natural. And I was like, when I get my hair done, I'm going to go ask, my beautician about what she thinks about this for, do the big chop, all this other stuff. I swear to you, something was like, wait. So I sat in the chair, and out of all the days, there was this beautiful Black woman and her beautiful daughter with these beautiful afros. And they walked in, and I guess they were trying to get an appointment, whatever. And so she was being really cordial, really nice, And they walk out, whatever. This beautician says the nastiest thing. She goes, they, with that nappy ass hair, they trying to do all this stuff with I was like, oh. So that's how you feel about that. So we'll not be going back to you. And from that day forward, I don't think I ever went back, because I was like, okay, this is how you feel about our hair, and you are Black. And you also, like, looking back, I realized, I'm like, she always kept her hair really short and really texturized or permed or relaxed. My mother always has perms, relaxers. Other women in my family, same thing. If they're not, they constantly have a weave in their hair. And the constant messaging was always very, 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 very negative, is what I'm trying to paint the picture of. And there came a point where I kind of overhauled my life, and I was like, this isn't working. And it was more than it's not working. It's like, I was in the hospital. I had died a couple of times. Like, I had issues with my job. The complete department got dismissed. And then the other one I went to was just so horrible. And then especially after having that hospital stay, like, my body couldn't take it. Like, my body was literally shutting down. My heart was shutting down. It could not take that job. So I had to quit it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start living life on my own terms. I'm going to figure this out because I am miserable and broke and poor and everything else. And something beautiful happens when you don't have anything for anyone to offer, especially I'm the oldest child. And so especially when you don't have anything to offer anyone, something beautiful happens is either people come towards you or they move away from you. And it was enlightening because when I was talking to God about it, one of the things that came up was, I was like, why is this happening? I don't have any beefs with anyone. I never have any troubles with anybody. Why is this happening? And he goes, I'm showing you for when I pull you back up, who's who. And I saw sides of people that I never knew. And I realized, okay, my circle consists of 5 people. That's great because I can help. When I come back up off this, I can help 5 people. I can't help 10 people. It's going to be really hard. I only need to help 5 people. And then I always describe it like, for the rest of the people, they spent so much time like distancing themselves because they don't want you to ask for their resources, right? So, and they start feeling superior to you. So then they start treating you horribly because they feel like now they can control you because financially you are beneath them, right? And also that made me think of like, how long have you been waiting for me to fall? How long have you been like plotting me down? Like, that was really truly astounding, especially because these are people in my family. These are people that are older than me, that are more established than me. And you were plotting on me the whole time. I mean, like, that really just kind of fucks me up a little bit. But one of the things they did was, I always say they built a house far away from me, and then they built a fence so high and focused so that I could not climb over the fence. But they never once thought that they were building the fence for them. So there will be a day when they come back, and some of them are already starting to try to come back, and it's like, you're trying to climb over the very fence that you built. And all I have to do is basically plant roses and bushes by that fence that you built. The boundaries you built because you didn't want me to have. It was something. It was absolutely eye-opening. But during that period of time, the world gets quiet because everyone leaves you. And it was such a beneficial thing because you can really hear, what is your voice? What do you think about this? With no judgment, with no societal pressures. And the thing about it is, like, societal pressures are not just like, oh, I think you should do this. It's like they almost force it on you, especially when it's your family. You should do this. You should do this. And you're going to do this. And okay, so what time are you doing? Like, right? Like, it's a very pressure environment. And finally, the world was quiet enough for me to look in the mirror. I remember looking in the mirror and going, what's up with me and this hair? And as soon as I said that, I said, I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with this. Everyone else does. And it becomes a problem when everyone else does have a problem with this. And I'm constantly having to acquiesce to something that's not mine. And that was not the answer I was expecting to get back. And I said, okay, so we're going to start living life on our own terms, especially knowing these people are assholes, like they're assets. And also the awakening of these people are stupid. They're not smart. They're not good at what they do. They've just been alive for a longer time, but they're not actually wise, right? They're not connected. All these things that you knew all along, but you were afraid to let yourself admit. And so I said, okay, it's quiet enough to where we can begin again. What do we want to do? What do we think? What's going on? And I went at my pace. I didn't throw, a bunch of products at myself. I didn't make myself have a wash routine. I said, when you want to wash this hair, you wash this hair. You can wash this hair how you want to wash this hair. If you want to wash and not detangle it, that's fine. If you want to wash and not condition, that's fine. Whatever conditioner and wash shampoo you want to put in there, that's fine. Because as Black women, for a while, remember there was a time when it was like we couldn't use the same shampoos and stuff as white women. That was like the general consensus. And I was like, you know what? This is cheaper because ours is like $40-$50 for a good one. And I can go into Target and get one that smells nice, because that was the other thing. They give us horse shampoo for us. They give us the worst tools. And if you learn your history about, especially African-American hair care, I'm like, we're using cow bristles with just which is a wood plank with nails in it to brush our hair. Like, that is how devalued we are and how we think about our hair. And I really had a problem with that. I really do have a problem with that. So I began to live life on my own terms. I said, okay, first of all, when you're homeless, girl, you take what you can get. But also I started choosing. I started going, no, I like this rose scented Tresemme, whatever. That's what I'm going to use. One day I was in the shower, I was like, cool, I feel like dealing with this, but then my arms got tired. So like after I girl washed and dried it, I was like, I'm not, combing it. So I'm just going to wear it in a fro. And then the next day I felt like combing it. So that's what I did. When I felt like wearing a scarf, I did. When I didn't, I didn't. I stopped listening to the voices of other people. And I started listening to myself, because I learned from losing weight, from making money, from doing all these things, that turns out I do know what I'm talking about. And people will put fear, which is part of the lower matrix, by the way. This is the timeline we're getting out of, is the fear. If you don't do this, your hair will fall out. If you don't do this, you will move this way. If you don't do this, see, that fear, that voice of fear that pushes you into something that you don't want, that don't know, but you can't rationalize it because the fear is pushing you. You stop it. And you say, what do I know? What do I want? What do I think? Hair is also intertwined with health. And so what do I want to eat? Where do I want to go? Health is also stress. And the more you make decisions about, what do I want? What do I think? What do I know? The longer your hair will grow. Because the problem was not that your hair doesn't grow. The problem is that it breaks. This is what I learned. It breaks. And something was like, do you notice that it gets to a certain length and then it sheds? Check that stress, girl. Check that job. Check these people. It's having an adverse effect on your hormones, on your health, on everything. And the minute I stopped and I started saying what I wanted to say to people, I said no when I wanted to say no. I said yes when I wanted to say yes. I stopped stuffing my feelings down. I stopped fooling with people I didn't want to fool with. Guess what happened? And so, I guess I learned to love my hair by realizing that I never hated it in the first place. That it was that everybody else hated it. And what that realization does is that allows you to look around and go, I'm not tolerating being around people who do not accept me or do not welcome me. And this is just in general. But also with this, when you feel that energy of people judging, you can feel them. I said, no, I don't want to be around this. And I decide how I don't want to be around it. If I don't want to be around it completely, or if I'm okay with it right now for 5 minutes and then I'm leaving, like, I decide that. I don't let anybody tell me what is the best thing in those regards. There's a time to listen to wisdom, but there's also a time to stand up for yourself. I did not go around people who dismantled me. And this includes Black men. So people who disrespected me, people who did not respect my space, believe that I'm a human being worthy of grace and love, did not treat me kindly, because I treat other people kindly. This is not an entitlement thing. I treat other people kindly. I love people kindly. I accept people freely. You want to wear your hair like XYZ? I love it. Because it's you. But people who do not give me my energy back? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I ate what I wanted to eat. I did my hair the way I wanted to do it. And conversely, what started happening is I started doing my hair more often. I started washing my hair more often. I started detangling it more often. I started finding more supplies that I actually liked. I actually fuck with to make my hair easier. I even did a silk press for a while. I've tried it a couple of times. Not quite a pro at it, but one day maybe. But really going this is my hair. This is what God has given me, and it protects me. And that was the other thing, learning the function of my hair. The function is, especially as a Black woman, it literally protects you from being sunburned. My friends and people that I knew from all races, white, Mexican, right, all in between, every time they get in the pool and they go outside and it's a hot day, they come out, their scalps are burned to a crisp. Mind you, I never feel that. In the wintertime, their heads are cold. When I shaved my head was cold as hell. It wasn't until I let my hair grow out, I was like, damn, this really does protect me. My skin, my eyes protect me from the sun. You learn the function. You learn the meaning of I am beautifully and wonderfully made, or fearfully and wonderfully made. You start understanding what exactly it means. You have protected me from the elements. You have created things in my inmost being to help me in this life, to make it easier for me so I can just go outside and live and enjoy the sun. I'm not going to let anybody talk me out of that. Also, when I start doing my own natural hair and letting it be what it is and not manipulating into this weird stuff, all this stretching and curling, and girl, no. You wake up and go. You wake up, you take a shower, no shower cap, no nothing. You let the water run through your hair. It feels good. Brush it out a little bit. Or some people just put their fingers through it, put a little headband on, boom. In and out. No more spending hours and hours and hours on a hairstyle that doesn't look good. Hundreds of thousands of dollars on a weave that doesn't look good. A wig that doesn't look good. But you know what looks good? My hair. It suits my face because it grows out like this. And it suits my face because it was made for me. You've got to stop letting people tell you what to do. You've got to stop letting people dictate the terms for living. You deserve a space to live because you are here. You are you. They are them. The straight girls, the straight haired girls, that's them. There's nothing wrong with that. But as curly haired girls, there is no one like us. And that was the other thing. I was like, we are literally the only people in the world whose hair look exquisitely like this. Especially having what is 4C hair. There's no one in the world that looks like us. No one. Even the people who have kind of curly hair, they have their little froze. It doesn't look the same. We are the only people. We are unique. I stopped letting people who were damaged tell me that I was not whole. And that was a realization I had to look. I was like, I'm looking at these women. They're 40, 50, 60 years old. Some of them 75. Girl, 75. And cannot accept themselves. And I'm not talking about the hair. I'm talking about life. They're insecure with their bodies at 75 years old, girl. And these are the people talking to you. These are people with extremely messed up marriages saying, why don't you have a man? Girl, what? Huh? You know, it's never the whole people, the healed people coming to you. It's always the broken people. And what that did is, this is not a judgment. This is a compassion almost, where it's like, I see you now. This has something to do with me. There's something wrong with you. And I thank God that I'm finally liberated from the jail that you're still in. And I hope that at 50 and 60 and 70 years old, I do not feel the same way about myself, to where I can be so callously cruel, because that's how callously cruel you are to yourself. That's how little you see in the world. That's how disconnected you are from God. I hope that I'm not this disconnected at 50, 60, 70 years old. Learn to love your hair by being honest with yourself. And you look yourself in the mirror and you list out all the problems that you have with it. And then one by one, the universe will come back to you and say, what about this? What about this? What about this? And then you'll have the breakthroughs and the realizations that you need to move forward. Until next time.